Hello, welcome back to BLENDERSUSHI Live Noding. In this episode, we're gonna learn how to do like a point tracking, but I'm not gonna explain the whole process. There are other video tutorials that explains the point tracking in Blenders really well. There is one point where we just gonna use Sverchok to do to track the 4 points and to create like a plane. This is kind of like a classic problem where you need to track like for example like computer monitor or maybe like a paper, just like an easy point tracking. So I shot this video earlier, and this is shot using the iPhone, 60 frames per second, 1080 HD, and this should be easy enough to track because we have like the 4 corner of this iPad screen that we're gonna track. So I'm gonna explain the whole process, just like even if we just use Blender for the first time. For this video tutorial, you will need to use Blender. Blender is free to download and to install. Just go to blender.org and download the latest Blender. And for my live noding video, you also will be using Sverchok. Sverchok is an add-on that's using nodes kind of to smooth the process. Whenever you do like a procedure of the same thing over and over, you can kind of turn it into like a node setup that you can just reuse. Okay, let's start from scratch. This is the default Blender screen. Sorry, I'll explain everything and the shortcut as well. A, select all, X, delete. Okay, and to do the motion tracking, we're gonna switch to motion tracking layout. And in this layout, you can do like all the motion tracking kind of process. But I'm gonna do the simplest basic one. I'm gonna open the video real quick. I'm gonna point to the desktop and find my video. Should be this one. First of all, we're gonna make the video kind of shorter, maybe just 80 frames, just for the speed. So I think should be okay. And in order to make the process smooth, I'm just gonna run the video one time to cache the whole frames. I think my computer has a quite small memory, so it can only handle like 80 frames for this kind of resolution. If you see the purple line across, then that should be good. Once it's cached, it's gonna run pretty smoothly. Okay, so let's do a quick tracking. I'm gonna save this real quick. This is a Sverchok SV4 point tracking 001. First of all, I'm gonna zoom in. I'm using my mouse to scroll in to the one of the edge of the iPad. So I'm gonna point into this one, and then I'm gonna hit Ctrl Click. And Ctrl Click, with Ctrl Click, you have this kind of marker, and you can reposition the marker. Look at this on the side. I'm gonna do like a quick tracking of these points. So this one has really nice contrast, so it should be pretty easy to track. Once I have that, I just need to Ctrl T and let Blender do the calculations, and you can see if it's like kind of good, normally you won't have any kind of bumpiness. If there's like a bump, something like this, like the red, like the curve suddenly jump, maybe there's like an error in the tracking. But in this case, no, it seems pretty good. So that's one, and then we're gonna do the next corner. Ctrl Click, and you have this corner. You can adjust it using G and then kind of dragging the marker, and then Ctrl T. Just gonna do this like super quick. Go back to the beginning of the video, Ctrl Click, and then Ctrl T for tracking. And then let's do this one as well. If I'm not wrong, we can also kind of lock the screen. I think it's L kind of locking the screen into this marker. So Ctrl T, restart, grab this guy, and then tap L to lock the screen, and then Ctrl T, and then tap L again to unlock it. not Ctrl L, just L. Okay, now we have 4 points already being tracked. It's very easy and fast, very simple. The next thing we want to do, actually there is one that's kind of wrong there. So this guy doesn't have any tracking information. Ctrl T. Okay, tracking is good for all of them now. Gonna save and then save as. It's a good idea to name this tracking device as well. I guess I'm gonna do it real quick. Upper left UL, and this guy right click, upper right, and this one BL, bottom left. This one BR. Okay, so we have all those markers renamed. The next thing we need to do is to link an empty to the track. So I'm gonna do that real quick. Link empty to track. So what we're gonna end up is when we switch to 3D view, we're gonna have this 4 marker as empty. So now all good, and all we need to do is to switch to 3D view now. Actually switch to default view, and we should have our locator. Let's switch to the camera. Okay, now apparently we need to have a camera for the locator to work. So because the image later on we're gonna kind of have it in the position of the camera, I believe. Ah, interesting. Okay, let's just leave the camera like that. Reset the normal, the rotations, and then yeah, just place the camera like that. And we're gonna look through the camera. Look through the active camera. Now we also wanna have to see our video from the viewport. Turn on background images, add image, and then switch to movie view, camera clip. Just get our video. Okay, that should be off, and then we can adjust the opacity. We can make it 100% or just 50% by default. If you lost the image because you need to be inside the camera, so view, camera, and should be good now. File, save again. I think we are almost pretty much there. So you can see the 4 points of the iPad screen is being tracked faithfully. So cool. Now I'm gonna switch to compositing, and then in this I'm gonna switch to the camera, active camera. Well, we're gonna need to set up the image again here. It's okay, let's do it twice, doesn't matter. Movie clip, camera clip. Okay, seems pretty good. We can scrub and do all kind of stuff. Here, the important part, okay? Because this is like a live nodding video, so I'm gonna select the empties, 4 empties. I'm gonna switch to Sverchok and gonna do objects in. I'm gonna get the selection. This is our empty, bottom left, bottom right, upper left, upper right. We don't sort it, just get the selections, and then we're gonna use the matrices. We're gonna try to draw a plane. Hopefully this is working for us. Grab the position and grab the vertices out. Okay, seems like it's working, and we have like you see the white points. I'll make it more clear. I'll make the vertex a bit bigger so you can see those 4 points now being drawn by Sverchok. And if we are doing it properly, we can just use a plane and use the polygon data plug into this guy, and we should have plane. And this is exactly what I'm trying to show it to you. Now we have this like a plane being generated on the fly based on the empty. Now this is just like a viewer in Sverchok. If you want like a real object, we use the bmesh viewer. Just plug in the vertices and then plug in the polygon, and we should be good. I don't know if we need to turn on fixed vertex count or smooth shade and whatnot, but basically we have this guy. There is one gotcha in the Sverchok that if you create UV on the surface, it's gonna get reset again and again. So every time Sverchok calculate the UV information will be disappear. So that's the only gotcha at the moment. The easiest way to solve that is to just bake it out. Just bake out our object here. So I'm selecting that guy. I'm gonna quickly export out the alembic based on the selected object. I have to know the frame number 2101. File, export, alembic 2101. Selected object only, and then export our mesh. And once our mesh is being created, all I need to do is to import the alembic, get our 4 points, and okay, we don't have the animations. Yeah, this is another kind of gotcha. In order to do proper exporting, I need to turn on, let's see, displays, and then just zero it out. That's my trick for this problem. Selected object, and then this is animation, so export. Once that's done, we kind of just re-import the alembic. Hopefully this time it has the animations. Okay, yeah, so we have the animation, so all good, all well. This is actually our mesh cache alembic. Okay, the next thing we want to do is to apply a material. So at the moment, if we render it out, soon we're gonna see a result. I want to be able to render the background, so I have to turn on transparency here, render, and then okay, so yeah, we have cycles rendering now in real time on top of our video. Don't worry about my fingers kind of going through the screen at the moment. Don't worry about that. We're gonna use an image. Let's quickly generate a texture coordinate and grab our object. Use image texture. Let's use like an emoji. Let's grab one of these emojis. Maybe this guy. For the color, if we just plug that in like that, we don't actually have the UV at the moment, so generated will not give us the correct UV, but it's kind of decent. Window, maybe window is like, you know, the image will always face to the camera, so that's not what we want either, but maybe that's what we want. What we really want is a proper UV, so we're gonna do that in a minute. First of all, I need to fix the transparency there. This is cycle, so you need to kind of tweak the transparency stuff. Transparent, and I think we need to do it this way. Alpha goes to the vector, diffuse, and then this goes to the surface. I think that's correct. Now we have the alpha channel. We might need to have mapping and the scale. So this is a tricky part. We need to do this. Let's do it properly, just use the UV of this guy. I'm gonna do it a quick one. Just select with the guy selected using the right click. I hit tab and then edit mode and then select all A, tap U, and then just smart UV project. And then after I do that, and we can use the UV of the object. So I think that's a little bit better. Oh, it's got repeated. We don't want the repetition. So turn on clip, and with the vector we can use a vector math and just, I don't know, maybe just move this guy a bit. Combine X, Y, Z for the vector. I think that should be okay, at least for this this setup. You know, like a quick one. We don't actually care about the overlapping. We're not gonna do the masking. A very quick one that will work actually if you just have like a writing, or even if you want to do like a 3D image, you can use Sverchok to do that. I think, let me adjust the lighting and the exposure a little bit. So that's kind of a little bit better matching our iPad screen. So now it's tracking the iPad screen. Maybe not 100%, but that's a good start. And that's if you want to use an image. If you don't want to use an image, there's another way you can do it. We're gonna go back to Sverchok here, and using our this blue generated objects, currently tracking the points, the empty, and generating this plane. We can also, let's say, if I use the one of the generated objects here, cylinder, box, circle. Actually, I'm gonna use the monkey, actually the monkey head. So you can see this is the monkey head, right? I'm gonna use Sverchok and just gonna source the monkey. And I'm gonna use something called adaptive polygons. With adaptive polygons, supposedly the theory is you have a polygon objects here, and then you should be able to track, you kind of adapt an 3D objects into that plane. So I'll try recipient. Recipient is going to be our plane, so it's going to be this guy, while the donor will be our Suzanne the monkey head. And if we are doing it correctly, we should have our Suzanne head on top of this plane. We can hide the plane and maybe scale the Suzanne a little bit. Matrix in here, vector in to the scale Suzanne a little bit. I'm supposed to rotate Suzanne as well. Currently it's not quite correct. RX90. I need to probably apply the matrix here. RX180. Now we have Suzanne heads kind of pointing up. Gonna reset Suzanne into 000. Hide it. And let's see if the head is being tracked correctly. So switch to camera view. And okay, seems to be doing it. So Suzanne head is adapting to the screen of the iPad. We can still make just a slight adjustment here. Locations, and then, you know, just do that. So you can actually render this out and it's gonna look just fine. If you want it to be a little bit more 3D, you can perhaps use the coefficient of the adaptive polygon. This is like a quick cheat. That's kind of gonna work just for this simple kind of tutorial. So the idea is, of course, once again, we are tracking this iPad screen. Gonna give a different color, and then we adapting Suzanne face to the polygon adaptive there. So we have this result. It's pretty basic, pretty simple, but it's gonna be useful because you can just reuse this. The nice thing about this is the whole setup is pretty much procedural, so everything is still kind of connected. You can still go back to the motion tracking, and then you kind of make adjustment, and then it's gonna update accordingly in the 3D view, like that. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it for this live noding. So that's how you use motion tracking with Sverchok. It works really well for 4-corner tracking for a plane. Any like a book shape monitor, computer monitor, anything that's kind of square, maybe like a painting in a museum that you want to replace. You simply go out there, use your smartphone, take a video, and then bring it to Blender. It's easy to do, and you can do it on any computer. It's fun. In fact, if you have like I'm using the emoji image, you can use your own image that's with transparency. You can actually just if you have like an image, you just draw something like a graffiti or something, you can replace it and just render it out like that. It works with a wall as well, by the way. Wall, TV, anything that's kind of square. Okay, that's pretty much it for this live noding. Any suggestion, comment, just let me know. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.